everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me today. Well, we're talking about a brand new influencer mom who is exploiting her children actually. It's called the Garza crew. And she's been going viral for all the wrong reasons as usual. And the things that they will do to capitalize on going viral, even though they know it's wrong what they're doing. She does a series about her divorce online. It's all kind of crazy. And we're covering her because she is nasty. So let's take a look at it. So the Garza crew have been on my radar for a little while. Basically, it's this mom who exploits her two daughters, like to the nth degree, like completely exploits them. Makes all of her money on her daughters. She's barely in it. She knows she wants to be a thirst trap, but it's not really working for her. But she barely is in it, and her daughters are like the main draw for the channel, for everything, for the TikTok, for the social media. She exploits them to no end. Okay, it's absolutely one of the craziest forms of exploitation I've ever seen. And so this is what went viral for them recently.
We are obsessed with skincare.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, my favorite stores are Sephora and Ulta.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, we wear a headband when we're doing our Get Ready With Me's.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, we don't have toys.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, we are obsessed with skincare.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, my favorite stores are Sephora and Ulta.
They can't even say, okay? These kids aren't even old enough to say the word influencers. They don't have teeth yet. And they're sitting here talking about, and I know this is supposed to be a big joke to everybody, but they don't. They do Get Ready With Me. It's literally the mom is using them as little mini influencers. They make lots of money doing it as well. So the thing that really kind of gets me is that this is her Instagram, and she's got 4.8 million. I say Garza crew when it's just basically her ripping off her kids. But 4.8 million followers. People are following children they don't know to the tune of 4.8 million. You don't know these kids. Why are you following kids online? This is what's wrong with the world. And so if you go through their content, as per usual, it's the mom living vicariously through her children. Okay? It's the mom who probably peaked in high school, who wanted to be the influencer and tried her best to be the influencer, but it ended up being her kids that made her famous. And you guys know how I feel about this. It's like the most disgusting thing ever, that these kids cannot give informed consent to being a part of this. They can't. They don't. And so recently, this is what I'm covering the little divorce part for the Garza crew, because this is like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, what? You're divorced? So this is what's happened. And I'm going to walk you through this.
5 days ago, I found out that my husband, who I've been with for almost 14 years now, has been having an affair.
Okay. That sucks, and that should never happen, and I understand that. But let's be real here. This is an account followed by mainly teenagers and children. So why are you putting this on the internet with the same account with your children? Like, can nothing ever be private for these people? These kids are going through it. You know, the parents are going through a massive divorce, which we know is traumatizing for children, and yet she's still putting them to work every single day of their lives. They're going through it, and she's posting all of her dirty laundry on the internet and forcing her children to work, by the way, which is insane to me.
I've been trying to figure out how to process this, and honestly, having a little divorce diary, I think, is the best. Is
it? Can we just stop as humans? Can we stop? This woman will stop at nothing to exploit every situation in her life for money. This is every family vlogger. This is every influencer. It's almost like they thrive in this environment. It's like they want it to happen so that they can use it for content. They're running out of stuff to do, and so okay, let's do a divorce diary. Divorce diary? Are you out of your mind?
Me, and maybe it can help someone else too.
Oh, it's raising awareness for divorce, and it can help you. Help me what? Help me learn how to exploit my children. Help you. Maybe it can help you what? Air your dirty laundry on the internet? How's that going to help anybody?
Oh, how did I find out? Let's go back to New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, my husband and I went to a local speakeasy where we had a table. Another couple had joined.
Did you have a table? That's nice.
Yes, and we had what I thought was a really great night. Towards the end of the night, close to midnight, I got a text from our oldest daughter saying she was worried about him because he had been sending her some weird text messages. He went to the bathroom, and that's when I got the text from her. And so I looked at his phone to see what he was sending her that was so alarming. I won't go into detail about what he was sending her, but when I opened his phone, I saw a bunch of texts to another girl who I'm very familiar with because she has worked for him for a number of years now. She's also married with kids, so I thought it was strange that they were messaging each other on New Year's.
This sounds made up. He's messaging his daughter by accident with the inappropriate texts. Is that what's happening?
Eve, close to midnight, while he's out with me, and I assume she's maybe with her family as well. But the text didn't make a lot of sense. They were kind of gibberish, and it gave me that gut feeling that something wasn't right. Women, if you're watching this, always trust your gut. It's always right. We went home after midnight, and I confronted him that morning. So stay tuned for part 2, and I'll tell you what happened.
Stay tuned for part 2, because this is all about creating content for her. This isn't about being a normal person. It's like, stay tuned for part 2. It's like, this is my first time seeing any videos, but this is so sad. Why would a man throw away such a beautiful family? I mean, this is a really good point, and Garza goes, I'll never understand. Well, I'm going to tell you this. And I know it's going to say, Josh, you're victim blaming, whatever the case may be, and there's never an excuse to ever cheat. If you don't want to be in the marriage, just end the damn marriage. Okay? If you don't go out and be a coward-ass cheater, just be like, look, it's not working. And so what it seems to me like, this guy's living in this world where it's obviously she's fake in every single way. She exploits her kids. She puts them to work. There's obvious child labor laws that are being broken here in this whole thing. But it sounds like he likely was just kind of checked out of this thing because she wasn't checked into it. Right? She's checked into making social media online with her daughters full time. That's it. That's everything to her. Okay, pretending everything's great. Look how amazing we are, and didn't see the red flags or whatever the case may be because she was not in the marriage. Again, never an excuse to cheat. I'm not giving an excuse. I'm just saying she wasn't paying attention because she's busy making her millions of dollars exploiting her children online. Okay, here's part 2.
This is part 2 of me finding out that the man I've been with for 14 years has been cheating on me. So we got home New Year's Eve, a little after midnight. We both had drinks, and so I made sure to get him to bed. My daughter, Haven, was not feeling good that night, and I had told her when I got home I would crawl in bed with her. So I went up, I got him settled.
What? So you found out your husband cheating on you, so you're like, let's go home and snuggle with the kids. What? Something missing here. Something's missing.
I crawled in bed with Haven and fell asleep. This is where the story kind of gets... God definitely wanted to wake me up. I'll just say it that way. It was about...
Oh, it's God. God, right. These people who think God in their life, but they have no qualms with exploiting children, it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind.
4 or 5 a.m. and Haven rolled over to tell me that her belly hurt. And when she said the word hurt, she threw up all over me.
You deserve
that. Face, hair, everywhere. So I got up and took care of her, got her all cleaned up, did what I could do. I put her in Cody's bed with Cody, and then I went downstairs to take a shower. And while I was in the shower, I got that gut feeling again that was like, you need to go back and look at those texts. Something was not right about those.
You already knew. If you're seeing those text messages and you didn't ask him when he got back to the table, why are you lying about it?
And don't just dismiss them. Again, ladies, I cannot stress enough trusting your gut. If this story will help.
Hey, do you trust your gut that putting your kids online is not safe? Do you not trust your gut on that? You know that these kids are some of the most famous twins on the internet, and you know their likeness is probably being used in artificial intelligence. The thing that went on with Taylor Swift recently, that's really going on. A lot of people are catching themselves in this AI technology thing that's really, really dangerous. You know your kids have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of predators following them, right? Do you not trust your gut on that? Trust your gut on this. I promise you, it's dangerous for your children what you're doing.
Even one person, trust their gut. It's worth it. I got out of the shower. I checked his
Raising awareness to track your gut.
phone, and there was a passcode on his phone all of a sudden, which was not there when I had just looked at his phone around midnight. When I opened his phone, I was able to guess the password because we've been together for 14 years, and I know every single thing he would use for a password. So I was able to guess the password pretty easily. Opened the
Something's not adding up.
phone, and there were all the texts I had seen at the speakeasy a few hours earlier were gone. Everything was deleted.
So let's be real. This just happened a week ago. This happened the beginning of January. She's talking about New Year's Eve this year. That just happened. Now, she's clearly going to get divorced, clearly going to be messy and everything. And she's online spewing all of this. Like, and I get it. I understand you want vindication. You want to like be upset and you want to throw him under the bus. And I get it. But you have children to consider here. You really have children to consider. And he's a dickwad for doing it. Of course he is. But at the same time, why would you air this out on the channel where your daughters are there? Like, what's wrong with you?
But right when I opened the phone, she was texting right then. 2 text messages came in. Ding, ding. Again, I don't need to go into detail about what the text said, but they did not look good. They looked very incriminating and very much so like something more than a business relationship was going on between these two, especially because she was texting him these things at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That with the deleted text messages, I knew, again, in my gut. So I immediately just woke him up and asked him what the boop was going on. This is part 2.
Stay tuned for part 3.
Part 3 on how I found out my husband's been cheating on me. I ended up waking him up and confronting him at about 5 a.m. Monday morning.
Again, the thing that pisses me off about this, she can make this all one story, but she wants you to keep coming back because she wants us to go viral. Right? This isn't normal human behavior. This is not normal to do this. To be like, come back for part 3, come back. Like her whole life is content. Everything she does is content, including the breakup of her 14-year marriage to her children's father. Like everything is content to her. Now, again, never an excuse to ever cheat. But do you wonder why maybe your relationship fell apart? Is it coming to you now? Because these kids are going to suffer the same fate as that when they get older and they don't want to be online anymore and they don't want to do all these things. You're going to force them to do it. There is no other way to put this but that she forces these children to do this stuff. Because when you're like, we're getting off of it, they don't know what they're saying. She forces them to say those things. It's all scripted. She tells them to do it. They probably do it 100 times. They don't even look comfortable doing it. And then she uses them as a clapback, which we'll see again in a minute.
January 1st. And he was still groggy from the drinks the night before. And you could tell he was trying to think of an excuse. And he kind of was just all over the place, like telling me all these different excuses for why he did it. But all I wanted to know was when it started and how far it had gotten. Because again, the texts that were sent were very vague. There was nothing in stone. There was no proof set in stone. Like, I didn't know 100%. But again, gut. Trust the gut. We went back and forth for a few hours arguing over it because I just felt like he was never really giving me a...
Again, would you not want to keep this from your children? Like, this sounds like the kind of woman who's going to probably alienate her children from her husband. You know? And I don't care, like, cheating or not, you don't deserve that. He's probably loves his children, right? But it sounds like something she would probably tell all her kids these things so that they'd hate him, and she wants everybody to hate him. I get what he did is disgusting. Don't get me wrong. But again, there's so much nuance to this.
He wasn't giving me the answers I was asking for. All he kept doing was making excuses for why he did it. And he never really would even say what it was he did. Eventually, after like 3 hours of this, I just asked him to leave. I couldn't take it anymore. And so he left. I called and texted the female that's involved in this and was trying to kind of get her side and her answer. And I didn't hear from her for 4 hours, which, again, very suspicious.
No. Are you serious? I noticed you're cheating on your husband with my husband. Get back to me, would you? You think they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'll get back to you right away.
My boss's wife is texting me, asking me what is going on and calling me after I had just gotten a bunch of weird texts from my boss the night before. Like, you better bet your ass that's going to be the first call I'm making in the morning. So the fact that she was avoiding me was another red flag. She finally called me, and by this time,
it's not a red flag. She's guilty.
Believe that they probably got together and hatched up a story. So by then, she had told me that everything that they've ever talked about or any contact they've ever had with each other has always been business. Nothing inappropriate, nothing outside of business. I got off the phone with her, again, not believing her, but at the same time, I had no proof of anything.
Okay, so you're going to get online here until... See what I'm telling you? Like, these people will stop at nothing for content. She trusts her gut, okay? And is he cheating? Likely. But she just told you guys on this video, she has no proof. So she just assumes because they were texting and it didn't look right. She didn't say it was like explicitly this and that, but didn't look. Again, probably he is. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying probably. But then she just admits she doesn't have any damn proof of it. And she's saying this online. If there's going to be a divorce, you're going to have to, like, you're going to show this to lawyers and stuff like that. Why would you put this on the internet?
And I wasn't going to end my marriage and disrupt my entire family without solid proof, because that's just the kind of
Sounds like you didn't have any.
person that I am. I'm not going to hurt my kids. And
Not going to hurt your kids with this false allegations of cheating. Understood. But you will hurt them by exploiting them, giving all their privacy online, having them followed by predators, parasocial relationships. That's fine, though. Totally got it. Real cool.
do all of this just based on my gut. I needed for myself.
Like who goes through who comes out of a 14-year marriage and just like is just normal about it. You know, I'm just gonna come on video and talk about it real quick. This has been like 3 weeks since this happened, and she's like, back to normal posting. Not one break in posting. Not one break in exploiting her children. Nothing, because that's all that matters to her. That would devastate me. I don't think you guys would see me again if my wife cheated on me. It would devastate me.
I needed proof, but I wasn't going to give up till I found the proof. So I talked to him that night. This is Monday night. And weirdly enough, he had the same exact story she had. He said he didn't know why he was saying the things he said in the morning. He was just still groggy, and that everything that they've ever discussed has always been business related. While dealing with all this, I still have to take care of my kids. I was trying to kind of juggle this.
We still have to make content, is what she's saying. I still have to make content. Because if we go back to January 1st, I bet you there's content galore.
All at once.
Could you imagine going through this devastating life thing, and then the only thing you care about is making content?
Along with my stepdaughter, she came over, and she's been a true rock and support to me through all of this, and really honestly encouraging, and one of the strongest girls that I know. I'm so proud of her. Tuesday, I decided, okay, now I've had some rest. I slept for 2 hours that night, maybe. And that's one of the things that you don't realize until you're going through this, is that your adrenaline is running at such a high pace that you can't eat or sleep. You're just going. I couldn't even make myself fall asleep. I was going down the rabbit hole of scrolling back and looking at pictures over the years. And, it's a lot. It's a mixture of emotions.
But stay tuned for part 4.
So Tuesday I decided I'm going to take a look at his phone bill, and we'll see what we can find there. 4 of how I found out that my husband of 14 years was cheating on me. Just to clarify, we were married for almost 9 years, together for 14. We dated for 3 years and were engaged for 2 years before getting married. Tuesday, I decided I'm going to dig into the phone bill. And again,
look at this comment. Can you show a video of Haven and Cody's reaction? Are you serious right now? Someone is asking you to show a video of the daughter's reaction to their dad cheating on their mom. And again, people feel entitled to this because of what she shares about her kids.
All the texts were deleted, so there was nothing there that I can see. And it took a while for him to actually figure out his password to get into the cell phone bill, and we had to reset it. And anyway, it took hours. And again, I'm still taking care of my kids. So Cody had a play date that day. Haven wanted to get her ears pierced that day. And so we went and did all the things.
And I guarantee you, she totally made content out of that shit.
And then that night, I started pulling the records from the phone bill and running the reports. And that's when I discovered, and some of you might know this, and some of you maybe could have helped me at that moment if I wanted to be open about this back then. But I discovered that iMessages, so those little blue bubbles on the phone, are not saved on the servers of cell phone carriers like Verizon, which we have. So they are through the Apple servers. So when you look on a phone bill, you're never going to see any text correspondence, incoming or outgoing, if it was sent through iMessage. That's done through Apple. And
okay,
Apple does not save the logs for that. The only way
imagine you're the daughter watching this stuff, the kids, that you have to watch the stuff that your mom's posting on the internet.
See, that is on your phone or through iCloud. And that had already been all deleted by him. So I had no records. The only thing the Verizon bill will show is if it was a text message. So if it's sent as the green bubble, or pictures. And I did see a lot of those sent. But honestly, at the moment, I I was still trying to figure out
just get to it!
why these texts weren't adding up. Like, it showed that
Holy
we sent 2
smokes.
texts to each other during the month, and I knew that wasn't accurate. Through some research on Google, I ended up finding out that those iMessages are not stored on the servers since they don't go through the Verizon servers.
This whole video is garbage. This has nothing.
So there's
oh
no
my
record
gosh.
of any of that either. So at this point, honestly, I didn't have proof. I didn't know if I was ever going to get any solid proof, and I wasn't ready to just end my marriage and my family based on my gut feeling. And that's just where I was at Tuesday
But
night.
you just said trust your gut.
Wednesday is the day.
Like, she calls these diaries, but she just sat down and did them one after the other. It's not a diary. This is her spilling the tea on her husband cheating on her. That's what it is.
I got my answer. I'd been praying. I'm a Christian. Very, very...
You're a Christian, are you? Doubtful. So, these people who exploit children for money for like their living, who claim to be Christian, is hilarious to me. Like, you're hilarious.
Much believe in God and Jesus, and I knew I would get my peace. I had been praying for peace. I just wanted to know one way or the other. And Wednesday, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine from TikTok, and she had said to me, why haven't you reached out to this other woman's husband? And I had thought about it, and I almost messaged him on Facebook 2 days earlier, but I didn't want to cause any kind of strife in their marriage if there was really nothing there. You know, like, I don't want to hurt somebody else and have them feel...
But I'll hurt my kids. No problem, though, for money.
I'm feeling if truly there was nothing going on. So I didn't message him. So now this is Wednesday, and I thought, you know what? If there's nothing going on, it's not going to harm their marriage. It won't hurt to at least reach out to him, see if he knows anything or has any suspicions himself. So I went onto Facebook to send him a message, and all of a sudden, I noticed that I was blocked by him. Him and I
I'd block your ass, too.
don't know each other at all. He would have no reason whatsoever to block me. There was only one person that would have logged into his account to block me. There's many ways to message people, so I was able to get a message to him with my phone number to give me a call that it was urgent. And so he said he was going to confront her when she got her number to give me a call that it was urgent. I heard from him about 15 minutes later. He had the same suspicions for the same amount of time as I did. And so he said he was going to confront her when she got home. We got off the phone. 2 minutes later, my husband walked in the door, and I told him this was his last chance to tell me the truth. If he was truthful in that moment, I can consider trying to work through this in our marriage and forgiving him if he fessed up to everything. And this is where he said he would take a lie detector test, swore on his kids' lives.
Don't do that. If you're lying about something, don't swear in your kids' lives. That's chachi.
Kids' lives. That nothing had gone on. That part really hurts.
Oh, trying to fake a tear now. This is so gross that she's doing this.
Hold up. Okay, so anyway, so we talked.
She didn't cry. This marriage has been over for a long time, by the way, everybody. She's keeping it together for, I guess, appearances for her channel. Like, she's not sad that this happened. She's absolutely not sad.
I kept trying to just beg him for the truth. I'm shaking now, sorry. This is all just very recent.
I hope when you go to court for this stuff, the judge is like, why did you put this on the internet for millions of strangers?
And while we were talking, I had his phone in my hand at this point, and it started ringing, and it was the other woman's number calling. And I answered the phone, and it was the other woman's husband. And I said, oh, hi, do you want to talk to my husband? And he said, I would love to. And so I put my husband on the phone, and he had asked my husband to put it on speakerphone. And my husband did. And I could see at this point my husband shaking, and he told my husband, I'm going to give you one more chance to tell your wife the truth. And my husband continued to lie and said, I have nothing to tell. It's all been business. And that's when the woman came on the phone and said that they had been sleeping together for 2 years, over 2 years.
That's crazy.
That's how I found out that my husband and the man I've been with for 14 years and have 2 beautiful babies with and a beautiful grown stepdaughter was having an affair.
So this was, okay, again, I that's an interesting story and you want to hear it. But so after this Gen Alpha influencer debacle and the kids go to Sephora and they do all these kind of stuff, she posted this because she was getting upset that people were calling her out. So this is what she did. Minding our business, making fun TikToks.
Eat that, peep that, I'm the one to beat ya.
That's disgusting. Had her grab her sister's throat, be like, Karens. That's what she's doing. This woman, do you think that this is like you think this woman has it all together for some reason? No? Me either. Yeah. We're Gen Alpha influencers. So she went viral for all the wrong reasons. She'll use anything in her life for content because that's who she is. She clearly doesn't give a crap that her husband cheated on her. She probably knew for the whole time, just ended up catching him. And it's like, oh, let me fake this tear for you guys. I don't like these people, okay? They're disgusting because, again, when they use all of this for content, it's just gross. These kids are not living a normal life. Yeah, they make a lot of money for their mom, and they're like famous, but it's the mom who gets to do this. The mom gets to live vicariously through these kids. These kids are exploited to the nth degree, which is why I'm really happy to see a law like this come into place. Florida House of Representatives approves bill to ban social media for kids under 16. And now this is going to mean, like, if this does get passed and all the states take it and hopefully everybody adopts it, it means that kids like this that you see Garza crew won't be able to make content and make money for their parents. This has long-lasting ramifications and protects children. This isn't just kids able to go online. This is content made with kids. Listen to this.
Now to the new push to make it harder for children to log on to social media. One state is working on the strictest crackdown in the country. Morgan Norwood is here with what you need to know, especially if you have a 15-year at home.
Yeah, that's right, Robin. We've been covering how social media companies have really faced a growing number of calls to make their platforms safer for young people. But this morning, lawmakers in Florida with this major crackdown, they want these platforms off limits to kids altogether.
Yep.
This morning,
altogether. And I mean, that's okay. Our life lives in Florida. The Mosses live in Florida. I mean, she's over 18 now, but there's a bunch of Florida families who do content for a living who won't be able to do content with their children anymore. That's a big deal.
Lawmakers in Florida approving what could be the most strict regulation on social media in the country. The House passing a bill that would prohibit anyone under the age of 16 from signing up for most social media platforms, even if they have their parents' approval.
Yep. And that would mean that there's no longer account ran by parents on the top, because that's one of the biggest loopholes that people get away with when they exploit children. Like, I've been looking for channels that have their kids posted behind paid content walls. I haven't really found a bunch of them, but I know that there are a few who do it. And if you go to these social media accounts of these children, all it says is account ran by mom or account run by dad or account run by parents. And that's got to stop. At minimum, that has to stop. There is no reason either for toddlers and babies to have Instagrams. Okay, that's insane to me.
It's like a digital fentanyl, and even the most plugged-in parent or attuned teen has a hard time shutting the door against these addictive features.
The bill targeting any social media site that tracks user activity, allows children to upload content, or uses addictive features designed to cause compulsive use.
They're just taking advantage of kids growing up.
Opponents say the bill infringes on parental rights. And
here's the thing I hate about this type: infringes on parental rights. Well, if you just parented your kids properly, you wouldn't have to worry about laws like this. These people aren't protecting their kids. And so, I mean, kids aren't allowed to drink. Is that infringing on parental rights? What if you want your kid to drink wine at Christmas? You know, what if you want your kid to smoke cigarettes with you? Get tattoos with you? Are those infringing on your parental rights? This is the same damn thing.
Will face First Amendment challenges in court. Meanwhile, in New York City,
we are the first major city in America to take this step and call out the danger of social media like this.
Mayor Eric Adams designating social media as an environmental toxin.
Good for Eric Adams.
And public health hazard.
You can't stand by and let big tech monetize our children's privacy and jeopardize their mental health.
Go ahead. Go get him, Eric Adams!
The Surgeon General warning up to 95% of youth ages 13 through 17 report using a social media platform, with more than a third saying they use social media almost constantly.
Yep.
And just this morning, Meta announced new safety measures aimed
they announced safety measures today. Thanks, Meta.
at teenagers, including restricting private messages from strangers, along with parental controls, Michael.
Well, that only took Forever?
Situation where you have,
and that's not even enough.
To explain to your kids why, because they're going to have a lot of questions and complaints about that.
So here it is. You want to have a conversation with your kids again. Don't just say, because I said so. In this instance, you tell your kids you don't want them on social media because you love them, because you want to protect them, because, 1 in 4 kids get approached by adult men on the internet, especially girls. Okay, you want to keep them safe, and so you don't want them on social media. It's not just because I said so and it's dangerous and blah, blah, blah. It is dangerous. It's scary, and it's like fentanyl. It's addictive. And I don't want you on that because I think it's bad for you. And I love you, and I don't want you to use it. I'm going to put a whole video together about what you can do I'm going to put a whole video together about how you can talk to your kids about social media and why you don't want them on there. Some great ideas. Maybe we'll bring a professional on or two to talk about the psychology behind it and get these kids really understanding why you shouldn't be on social media. We're all on it as adults. If they want to be on it as adults, it's a little bit different, right? I mean, even though we are completely addicted to social media, every single person. I think the world would be better off without social media. I think you agree with me. But it's a part of life. It's embedded into our culture now. A lot of people make their money on there. It's jobs, everything else. Like, kind of understand. It's like we can't put it back in Pandora's box. So now what we do is we mitigate it for our kids. Like we slow it down. Because again, we're not allowed kids to have tattoos or go drinking and partying and doing drugs and all these kinds of things. This is just like that. It's so dangerous for kids to be on social media. But of course, Farah Abraham has something to say about that because she's an absolute disgusting piece of garbage. Farrah Abraham's kids on social media, not problematic. Ban predators instead. Now, we've had this conversation many times about it's the predator's fault. And I would agree with you. But they're not going anywhere. Right? So a lot of parents will use this excuse why can't my kid be on there because there's predators? Yes, sorry. It is a reality that exists that you have to be careful with. And so if that danger does exist, as a parent, your job is to protect your kids and not put them out there for predators. Okay, that's just the way, that's your job. And because that is a reality, unfortunately, then that's what you have to do as a parent to protect your children. Does that make any sense? And so that's what Farrah Abraham's about to say.
So I think Florida's law that they're trying to pass all the way to ban anyone younger than 16-year-olds.
She can't even close her mouth anymore because she is a product of social media and craziness and fame. She has had so much plastic surgery because she thinks she needs to look a certain way. She has done porn. She's done everything to be relevant and make money and be famous. She is literally the reason why we shouldn't let our kids on the internet. So why would you listen to her? She is exactly the product that's what social media will turn our daughters into. And it's getting way worse. You got these girls like Garza crew on there. We're social media influencers. Well, of course we like skincare and of course we like skin products and first of all, stop letting your kids have skin products. Okay, unless you have a skin condition, it's a little bit different. But you don't need retinol if you're 11 years old. Okay, you don't need stuff like that. It's bad for you. There are teenagers getting lip injections, fake boobs, butt lifts. Teenagers. Okay, this is social media's fault. Kardashians started it and Teen Mom and all this stuff. She is, again, I cannot stress this enough. She is the exact reason why you don't want your kids on social media.
To not use social media. I feel like for myself, I have taken the time to let my daughter know about tools, other people who are running these social platforms, have creators come together for safety, to report people, all of those.
Yeah, because we know from our whistleblower, because Farrah Abrams clearly didn't watch that, he's nah, the reporting results in less than 2% removal rate. Less than 2%.
So social media has been a successful, helpful tool. And what we've noticed...
To what? For you to make money?
Whether that's bullying, predatorship, just online...
It has been a successful tool for bullies and predators, is what she's saying, but I think she meant to say the other thing. It's to stop that? No, it's been a successful tool for predators and bullying.
In criminal activity, we turn those things in and people have been removed, blocked.
Less than 2% efficacy on that. Less than 2%.
Whatever may...
So she's look, we got a couple counts removed. We're doing good. The predators are running scared of my fake lips. No, they're not, Farrah. They're just find different ways around it.
Maybe needed for those...
And of course she says this because she exploits her daughter. She was exploited as a teen pregnant mom. Now she exploits her daughter completely. She's Farrah Abrams. You should see the laundry list of shit that she has done. She's disgusting. We'll do a video on it.
Forms and safety, but I do not feel that children need to basically be a blame for other adults and other predators or bullies not being held accountable.
Does she think the kids are being blamed? Like, why would you say that? No kid is being blamed here. The parents are being blamed for not protecting their children. And so the government has to step in and say, you know what? You're not doing this right. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, step in because you're not. The kids aren't being blamed. I know some kids will be like, why am I being blamed for this? No, you're being protected.
And I think a big issue.
She's a teenager. She's like Jess fam. She's developmentally arrested at 16 because that's what happens.
Justice system is penalizing the innocent and allowing criminal act.
Is not being allowed to be on social media a penalty? Is it? Is not being able to get tattoos before your 18th birthday penalty? Is not being able to smoke cigarettes before you're 21 or whatever it is a penalty? Is that a penalty or is that protection? What an idiot. Who's going to listen to this? I hope people don't listen to this Muppet-looking weirdo.
Activity to go rampant. I hope to help children. I hope to advocate. And I know my daughter Sophia has stated she is not okay with children being taken offline. Like,
who cares what your daughter thinks? Your daughter is groomed and has been conditioned to think that this is the way the world works, that the life is social media. And this is all your fault, Farah. You're disgusting.
That's an outlet creatively.
Creatively, it's an outlet. Yeah, we should definitely listen to you.
Mental health, for well-being, that can be used for success.
Did she say it's for mental health and well-being? Are you out of your... Have you not heard anything?
I think to other parents who do not allow their children on social media, they have not equipped them to be successful adults when they grow up.
Wow. Again, look at who is saying these things. And that should literally just reinforce that we shouldn't have kids on. Like, if someone like Farrah even saying, you should let your kids on social media, we should all be like, okay, we did the right thing. Farrah said we should, so we're good. Everybody good? We're good.
You can't hide from the internet your entire life.
What are you saying?
And I think that's just an injustice to what we need for our mental health.
It's an injustice.
And our safety growing up.
Oh my gosh. And look at her. That's her daughter. Growing up in the spotlight. Forced to grow up in the spotlight. Oh, this woman is such a piece of trash. And of course she claps back and says this.
Hey y'all, I was just noticing that Senate is going all the way with banning 16-year-olds from social media. No doubt there's online bullying that has killed some of our teens.
So you're admitting that the online bullying has killed some teens. And you're still going to be like, but
there has been Snapchats used to kill our kids with drugs.
Yep.
The list goes on. But the
list does go on.
I have to say, if we're going to have some discrimination with ageism online,
She's calling it ageism. Yes, social media has absolutely killed thousands and thousands of teenagers. Has put them in dark, scary places, and predators have found them, and it's their mental brains need mentalness.
What's going on with adults and teaching and giving their kids toolkits, and also social media having an online safety course that can get verified once it's complete.
You're stupid.
To access social.
You think kids are going to take an online safety course to access social media? They're not going to do it. And again, kids are going to find their way. There are going to be bad parents who will let their kids go on the internet. They won't see this. They'll say, oh, this is my parental rights. Now I want my kid to be on social media. You can't tell me what to do.
Social media. I think that's so really important for predatorship, bullying.
Why do you keep calling it predatorship? What the heck is that?
Safety, also helping your own mental health and success, rather than just taking a great tool away that could set them up for their future and their careers.
No, this isn't going to set... It's like less than 1% of the population makes money online. Okay? It's not going to set them up for career. It's going to set them up for failure because they're going to say something stupid and they're going to get canceled for it later on in life. Social media, for the most part, for most people, has been detrimental. Okay? Again, less than 1% of people, like athletes, less than 1% of people make a lot of money on here. Okay? And she thinks because she made money on the social media because of her fame, which was not deserved, by the way. She's disgusting trash. Right? She's a train wreck that everybody watches. That's why she's famous. She's not famous because she has something good to say. She's famous because she's trash. And people like to watch train wrecks. Okay, so don't listen to anything she says.
And be an income source. So should we take schools and public forums away too for bullying, drugs?
Yeah, we should take schools away. Absolutely.
Drugs and every other thing?
Yeah, we should. We should take schools away. Definitely. Same thing as social media. Absolutely. No one ever listen to what Farah Abraham has to say, okay? Because she is absolutely a donut. Just a donut. So going back to the Garza crew, right? This woman who was going viral by exploiting her children. This stuff has got to stop. And it won't stop until laws are passed in every state. And until it's, if the Garza crew lived in Florida and this actually passed, you know what they would do? They would just move to another state that allowed them to exploit their children. Like there are laws being made. There's a mayor of New York City standing up. There is countless whistleblowers coming forward to Congress, to the Senate. Everybody knows that this is wrong. Everybody knows it's dangerous. And those who do this in light of knowing the dangers of it, they willingly put their kids at risk for money. And they don't deserve your sympathy. They don't deserve your love, your support, your like, your follow. They don't deserve any of it. This woman who sits here and does a divorce diaries so her daughters can watch that later. I know your husband did the dirty and he's a disgusting piece of trash. I get that. But at some point, you got to realize you do have kids. And they are suffering online. These kids wear like belt bags from Lululemon. They do makeup every single day. They do their skincare routines. These kids don't need face peels and under eye things. They don't need to be doing this stuff. They don't need to be wearing makeup every day. Like I understand makeup's fun for kids and they play with it. But if your kid is an influencer and you are forcing them to do this, you should be in jail. And these kids are being forced to do this. And until the laws change, and they are changing, we are going to continue to talk about it. And even when the laws change, they will find loopholes. There's always going to be a loophole because social media companies will put loopholes in play. Because kids aren't supposed to be on social media until they're 13. But these kids are 7? And they're on social media because it's the easiest loophole to come around. And they make millions doing it. And social media platforms also make millions doing it. So do yourself a favor. Stop watching this bull crap. Okay? Stop watching these people. They're nasty and they are exploiting kids. And when you watch it and you follow kids for some reason, which is weird that you do that, you're adding to exploitation. Okay? Why do you watch this stuff? Why is it interesting to you, other people's children? Do you know how creepy that is? You should be a social pariah if you watch other people's children online for fun. You should be outcast to the outer darkness with the Mormons. Okay? Anyway, everybody, take a deep breath. Yesterday, I was so sick. It was crazy. I woke up barfing and just barfing. I don't know what it was, a 24-hour flu. I don't know what it was. But the third time I vomited was like, my wife says I'm a violent vomiter. And I was like, it hurt. Like it was so, like it shut my body down for the rest of the day. Today I feel a little bit better, but like, dang, was I sick. Dang. You ever get that? People say there's RSV going around, but no one else in the house got it. So hopefully everybody stays safe and stays healthy. I hope you do too. You are amazing. You are incredible. You are valuable. Do not exploit your children. Protect your children. Okay? And I will see you when I see you.